More than 3 billion cans were sold. More than 90 countries. 68 years on the shelf. Over 700 million pounds produced. Play-Doh. Probably the first toy you remember touching. 6 ingredients. Nothing patented. Nothing proprietary. A compound so simple you could make it in your kitchen tonight. But here's something that might surprise you. Play-Doh wasn't invented as a toy. It was sold to scrub coal soot off wallpaper. The formula hasn't changed. The person who named it doesn't appear on a single patent. And the smell you recognize the instant you twist open the lid, the one that 3 generations of Americans grew up with. It's one of roughly 13 scent trademarks active in the United States. Same list as a strawberry-scented toothbrush and a ukulele that smells like pina colada. So why is a wallpaper cleaner from 1933 still sitting on the toy aisle right now? Cincinnati, 1933. Kutol Products, a small soap company, was running out of money. Cleo McVicker, 21 years old, walked into a meeting with Kroger and promised 15,000 cases of wallpaper cleaner. Kutol had never made wallpaper cleaner. If he couldn't deliver, $5,000 penalty. Money the company didn't have. Cleo called his brother Noah. They mixed a compound from flour, salt, and water. You press it against the wall, coal soot sticks to it, you throw it away. Kutol became the largest wallpaper cleaner manufacturer in the country for 20 years. Then coal furnaces got replaced by oil, gas, and electricity. Vinyl wallpaper came out. You could wash it with water. 2 shifts at once wiped out every reason the product existed. Cleo died in a plane crash in 1949. His son Joe, 25, inherited a company that was dying. In 1955, Joe's sister-in-law, Kay Zufaln, a nursery school teacher, brought Kutol's wallpaper cleaner into her classroom and used it as modeling clay. Kids loved it. She called Joe and told him, "This isn't a cleaning product anymore. This is a toy." Now here's the kicker. Joe wanted to name it Rainbow Modeling Compound. Kay said no. Play-Doh. 2 syllables. If Joe had won that argument, you probably never would have heard of it. And when Joe filed the patent in 1965, he listed himself and Noah. Kay, the person who saw it, named it, and proved it, wasn't on it. 1956. Joe founded Rainbow Crafts. 0 advertising budget. So he went to Bob Keeshan, Captain Kangaroo, the biggest children's show on CBS. 2% of sales for Play-Doh on air once a week. No contract, a handshake. Keeshan featured it 3 times a week instead. That deal ran nearly 30 years. By 1958, sales hit $3 million. Here's the thing nobody tells you. What is Play-Doh made of? 6 ingredients. Wheat flour, hard winter wheat, the kind used for bread, not the kind used in a lab. Water, salt, a lot of salt, mineral oil, a surfactant, and a retrogradation inhibitor. Nothing patented, nothing secret. The salt content runs somewhere around 3 to 5% of total weight. That's higher than seawater, higher than most food in your kitchen. Why? Not for preservation. Salt at that concentration does one very specific thing. It makes kids not want to eat it. Is it toxic? No. Non-toxic if swallowed, but salty enough that no kid wants a second bite. That's not a flaw. That's the safety design. Same logic as the wallpaper compound from 1933, safe if it touches skin. Won't hurt you if swallowed, but nobody wants to swallow it twice. Mineral oil keeps it pliable, prevents drying. The surfactant helps flour, water, and oil blend without separating. And the retrogradation inhibitor stops the starch in the flour from recrystallizing after mixing. Without it, Play-Doh would harden inside a sealed can within weeks, almost identical to what Noah McVicker mixed in that Cincinnati soap factory, minus the cleaning agent. But here's the thing. It's mixed in industrial vats, thousands of pounds per batch. Flour, salt, water, and oil go in first. Mix until it hits the right consistency. Soft enough for a 3-year-old to squeeze. Firm enough to hold a shape. Moisture sits in a narrow window. Too wet and it sticks to hands. Too dry and it cracks. After mixing, the batch gets split for color. Red, blue, yellow, white, using non-toxic, food-grade dye. Each color, a separate batch. No streaks, no blotches. The colored compound gets pushed through a die, a metal extrusion mold forming uniform cylinders. Cut to size, packed into cans, sealed. Quality control checks 3 things per batch. Color matches the code, texture meets standard, and moisture falls within tolerance. Production runs at East Longmeadow, Massachusetts, and at factories in Turkey and China. More than 100 million cans a year. Same heavy equipment, same batch processing logic, same base compound. Just remove the detergent. Add color. Now here's the wild part. Why does Play-Doh smell like that? When the McVickers converted the compound from cleaner to toy, they needed kids to forget where it came from. Almond and vanilla fragrance, layered on top of a wheat salt oil base. Not because children liked it, because nobody buys a toy that smells like industrial cleaner. 70 years later, 2018, Hasbro filed with the United States Patent and Trademark Office. The official description: a sweet, slightly musky, vanilla fragrance with slight overtones of cherry, combined with the natural smell of a salted, wheat-based dough. The USPTO approved it, making Play-Doh one of roughly 13 active scent trademarks in the country. Something created to disguise where the product came from is now the brand identity that federal law protects. 6 ingredients, 1 scent, same logic as the compound from 1933. Here's where the story flips. You just watched a wallpaper cleaner become a children's toy labeled ages 2 and up. But that same compound, flour, salt, water, mineral oil, turned out to be soft enough to do something nobody designed it for. In 2016, at Mobile World Congress in Barcelona, Jason Chaikin, president of biometrics firm Vicansay, pressed Play-Doh into a mold of his fingerprint and placed it on the scanner of an iPhone. The phone unlocked, in front of the international press. Samsung Galaxy, LG Nexus, same result. Play-Doh was fine-grained enough to replicate ridges at a resolution that 500 dpi sensors couldn't tell apart from real skin. A $2 toy, bypassing biometric security on the phone in your pocket. So let's go back to where this started. Soot-covered walls, Cincinnati, 1933. A 21-year-old promising 15,000 cases of a product his company had never made. His brother mixing flour, salt, and water in a soap factory. Kutol Products, the soap company that nearly went bankrupt in 1933, is still operating. Still in Cincinnati. Still making cleaning products, they just don't make Play-Doh anymore. That smell that pulls you back to a room where you were 6. It was formulated for one purpose. So you'd forget you were holding an industrial cleaner. Scent reaches the hippocampus, the brain's memory center, without passing through any other filter. That's why smell triggers memories more powerfully than images or sound. Occupational therapists now use tactile and scent stimulation, kneading, molding, familiar smells, to reach memories that images and words can't touch. Something that started as coal soot on a wall is now helping people find their way back to themselves. The next time you open a can of Play-Doh, you'll notice the smell first. Everybody does. Now you know why. That's the process. We reveal how things actually work, one story at a time. If there's something you'd like us to explore next, let us know. Until then, trust the process.